on Jabrill's punt return. There was an awful late flag that came in there. Did you see that? What did you see on that play?
Phenomenal play by Jabrill, obviously. Kind of jumped in the air and then spun and ducked somebody at the same time. So, phenomenal play. Questionable, but you know what? It happens. You got to be real careful. I tell those guys all the time, let's just get him to the dance. Get on your blocks as long as possible, and just know that if it's ever questionable, peel off and go find somebody else and let him make a move. We got a phenomenal player back there, and so we got to get him to the ability to make those plays. So, frustrating that we didn't finish it, but we got to learn from it and move on.
Several of the veterans had a little downtime last week. What did the kickers do, and were they going right along?
Yeah, you know what, they continue to work, but we got to be smart and give them some downtime too. So we scheduled their kicking early in the week, and then the young guys continue to work throughout the week and in the improvement week, just like the rest of the players.
The coach said that there's competition's always ongoing, but is that a little bit more settled than it was maybe coming out of the game before Rutgers?
No, I don't think it's ever going to be settled here. I think we're always going to compete and challenge those guys, and they know that they have to perform at a high level, or there's going to be someone, ready to perform. So no, we're still competing. They're on equal reps, and they're going to keep working those equal reps throughout the next few weeks.
As much as you can evaluate it in practice, I mean, if they're not getting kicked in a game, even Rutgers game, is it hard to kind of simulate, what that experience is like?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I'd like to get a try there, in a game to have that pressure, but we got to just try to do our best in practice and be ready for the game when it comes. But yeah, of course, there's nothing like game reps.
So with Kenny, because he's kicked in so many games, you didn't think that was necessarily attributable to being in a live game?
No.
Problems?
No.
There's no more technical?
Yes, yeah. Just, it's extremely difficult to do all three. You don't see it often. You don't see someone, do it excellent often. It's something that he's learning. Even though he's a fifth-year senior, he's never done that before. So, he's learning just like, any other player has to learn and how to adjust his swing to what type of kick he's doing. And, so that's the learning curve that we're hitting. We're not down on Kenny. He's just, got to continue to improve and realize how to do all three in a game, setting where he's switching his swings up.
Is there a stamina element?
There is, of course, and that's where we got to be smart in practice and make sure we don't wear him down and and know what he needs to work on, for that.
So is he still the guy, the place kicker, the next field goal you guys take in a game, it's going to be Kenny's?
As of going into the Rutgers game, yes, but right now we're still midweek, so I can't make that determination. They're still competing in practice.
Is Nordine healthy enough to kick at this point if you had to use him in a game?
Yeah, Nordine is kicking. He's kicking well. He looks good. Excited about him.
Linebacker play at this point, what do you like? What needs to take a step up in the second half?
Yeah, I like the physicality of the guys. I like the constant, you got to realize that we might have a really good defense right now, but it's the first year in the defense, and there's so much more to keep learning about it, so we need to continue to be cued in. And, I love, Don Brown always says, blitz every time like it's the first time you ever ran that blitz. And that's something that we got to keep in mind as we keep going through and start running the schemes over and over. Is we got to continue to stay focused, continue to learn the defenses. There's so much more to it as well. And but I like how physical they are. I like how tuned in they are. How hard they're practicing, how much they care about themselves and the team. I do like what I'd say, but we got to continue to get better.
Jabrill said last night he's not really thinking about the NFL draft. People send him stuff. What do you say to him about things like that?
Jabrill, you don't have to say much. He's focused on his team, always has been his whole life, in any team he's been a part of. And he knows he's got goals this year, so I'm not really worried or concerned about him thinking ahead.
He's obviously dealt with the attention and the hype of being a heralded player for a long time, so I'm sure he's fine at dealing with the hype and stuff, but how does he compartmentalize that stuff and take that in stride?
Yeah, I mean, Jabrill was an All-American as a freshman in high school, so, he's had, on a smaller scale, the same type of hype around him and the same things that have come to it, so, he's able to handle it and focus, and, the thing that Jabrill does best is he focuses on every play or every minute of a meeting like it's the most important thing. and that's what makes him who he is. So, he doesn't look ahead. He focuses on what he needs to do and what he needs to improve on every rep or whatever it might be. So, he's able to do it.
Is that something he learned when you were with him in high school, or is that something?
I mean, it's a natural thing. I mean, I think, you continue to learn things and adapt and become smarter people and a smarter young man. I think, as he's moving forward, he just is something that, he's able to focus in and lock into what's important at that present time.
His teammates never speak about him with envy or jealousy or anything. Has that always been the case? And what is it about him that allows his teammates to admire it, appreciate?
Jabrill is a team player. He's a guy who sacrifices for his team if need be. He's not a guy who, is always me, and he embraces them. He embraces the young guys. He tries to teach them. He tries to, like, if he makes a mistake, for example, right? Jabrill is unbelievable because he makes a mistake, it's only going to happen once, probably in his whole life. He fixes it. I'm talking X's and O's scheme-wise. Well, he also tries to make sure his teammates don't make that same mistake. And that's the type of player he is. So, we use him on offense as a decoy, and, he might be dead tired because he just ran an 18-play drive, and then he goes in and he has to run a fake check sweep or something. He's not getting the ball. He was running at 100 miles per hour. Your team sees that, and that's the type of kid he is. So I think they embrace that.
Do you agree with the C- grade he gave himself yet?
Yeah, he fell down against Penn State and didn't score a touchdown on the punt return. He's going to be a harsh grader. That's make him who he is. And, I think that, Jabrill, because he does so many different things, it's like the sky is the limit. He can constantly keep getting better and better. And, so if he feels like he's a C-, then I'm going to agree to him, and we'll talk and see what I can do and what we can do to help him to get, up to an A.
Did you test limits at Paramus with him? I mean, as you got him and you saw him doing more things, did you keep pushing and see how far I can
Absolutely,
push him?
absolutely. When you have a young man like that can take on more and more, you just continue to push because that's what he is. That's what he thrives off of. So if you limit him, then you're limiting who he is as a person. So I think we did there, and I think we're doing a good job now.
Was there ever a limit that you got to and you backed it off?
No, not at all. Never seen it.
You've coached him for so long, obviously. When he makes the plays that he does now, do you think, I've seen him do that before, or do you think, is he still evolving and adding new things to his...
Oh, he's evolving and adding new things every single day. It's funny. It's like just yesterday, he's sitting there and he wasn't in on a particular rep, and Rashawn Gary comes off the edge and makes an unbelievable pass rush move and gets to the quarterback, and he comes off, and I'm standing in front, and he goes, "Hey, you got to show me that move after practice. I got to use that thing off the edge," and just thinking like that and stuff like. And it was real. It was genuine. He really wanted to learn that particular pass rush move. And Jabrill's not a DN, but he wants to learn as much as possible. So I think he's always going to continue to evolve.
What's that like for you to see, a few years ago you were coaching both those guys in high school, now to be here and have both those guys again interacting like that? And did you think about that in that moment?
Yeah, no, I did not think about that in that particular moment, but it is awesome. It's really cool. It's a good thing to know that you said and did the right things to help guide those guys to the right places and to do what they're doing now and to see their work ethic and what they do off the field. It's a good feeling for sure.
Speaking of guys you coached, how much has Jawan changed in the last year to get himself ready for this opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, Jawan is just is a guy who we knew, would have to develop coming out of high school. He didn't play much football, growing up or anything, and it's pretty good to see him continue to work at it and develop and work his way, onto the field. It's a great feeling, and just love how Jawan is very, work-oriented and very much wants to be really good and works every single day at it.
Linebacker-wise, beyond the guys that we see on the field, for the most part, every game, who's stepped up in practice and come along for you?
Oh, I mean, I think Devin Bush Jr. is ready to go. I think he's doing a phenomenal job for us on special teams and getting a ton of reps in practice. And I think he's ready to step in there. For sure. He's the one that really comes to mind.
Okay.
Jabrill said yesterday that he thought he was better offensively than defensively, maybe more naturally gifted there, but that he liked defense more because of the aggressiveness. Curious what you think of that.
Yeah, I mean, he's naturally gifted for sure. He's really hard to contain when he has the ball in his hand. But I think that he does have a passion for defense. He does like adjusting on the fly. In terms of when he's like making calls and doing different things to different formations. He kind of takes pride in knowing stuff. So that's where he likes defense, and he likes to hit people. That's one of his things too. He's very physical, but he's a phenomenal offensive player as well. Where he enjoys that. So he's in this kind of thing where he doesn't have to choose. He's able because of his abilities to play both, and because of his mind to play both. So he'll be able to do that until someone tells him he can't.
Agree with Jim's assessment of him being a Heisman guy?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I just, you got to understand how much, he's able to do. I mean, if you get into the details of it, he lines up as our wing on punt and blocks and covers on a punt. He's the safety or a cover guy on kickoff, this year. He's a guy you just plug in anywhere. He can do everything, and he does it at such a high level that I just don't know if there's many people who can do what he does in multiple positions constantly.
Because the danger of that is if you have one guy that plays 6 spots, if he gets hurt, you need 6 replacements for him. How do you balance making sure he stays healthy? It's like any other player. He's got to take care of his body. He's got to make sure he's eating right and sleeping, and understand that his body is what is making him right now, and he does a good job with it. He takes care of himself, and you can't really think about that. You just got to keep pushing forward, and and know that he's in our training staff, and everyone's doing the right thing to keep him going.
This has been kind of a transition year for you too. How much has it helped having a guy like Don Brown there with you?
I mean, it's like, I feel like I'm becoming a better coach. You go into the bye week and you reflect on all the players and individuals and your schemes and everything, but, also I was able to reflect on, where I've come from. And, I just feel like on a constant basis, I'm becoming better, and coaches are allowed to improve too, and, having Don Brown and coach, you got to understand the mindset of this place, right? I mean, you can learn every single second of every single day, and I try to take on as much as possible, but I try to hang on every word that Don says or Coach Harbaugh says, and and try to learn and improve. And it's like, you got Greg Madison coaching the D-line. I mean, who knows more than him? It's like, it's the culture that's set here. It's a culture set of just learning from each other. And it's all around. I learned from Jay Harbaugh. Jay Harbaugh learned from me. Maybe I can, we have different perspectives, different experiences, and that's what Coach Harbaugh, kind of sets and the tone. I just feel like if you want to become a better football coach, find your way on Jim Harbaugh's staff. That's really what the culture set. And it's the same thing with the players. If you want to become a better young man, play for Jim Harbaugh. I mean, I honestly believe that because that's the entire culture set here at all times.
And you're totally obviously locked in on the game on Saturday, but are there things about a football Saturday in this setting that you've learned to appreciate in the time you've been here?
At Michigan, you're saying? Yeah. Oh, shoot, phenomenal. I mean, I just think that it's a very traditional, setting where, the fans all come out and they're here early and they're excited, and, it's just when you walk down a tunnel and you realize the tradition here and the people that have, played here, and then you kind of see the stadium. It's a phenomenal place. There's not many like it. Even with, you're driving, from the team hotel to the campus and you see everyone out, packed, enjoying it. It's a great setting, and you definitely learn to appreciate it for sure.
You mentioned coaching with Jim. How demanding is he on you guys? I mean, what are hours? What time do you show up in the morning?
We're here early. We're out late.
How early is
it's
early?
not.
5?
It varies. But yeah, where some coaches come in early. I'm not gonna. Jim is not demanding in terms of he's setting the hours. He's demanding, and the people he hires love what they do and they work hard at it. So there is no I'm going to sleep in today. I'm going to pop up. I'm going to get in that office. I'm going to work late. I'm going to make sure that these kids are prepared for the game or prepared for life, or and it's whether they're doing class checks, whether it's calling recruits, whatever it might be. It's an atmosphere of just loving to work. And then when you have a guy that's leading you put in as much work as he does and continue to push, you're not going to slack off. You know, it's so is it demanding? Yes. Does it feel demanding? No. You know, do you get tired? No, I don't personally. I don't think we do because we just love what we do, and you know, you just kind of pop up and you have an energy to you.
For the player